Tell me how you want it, yeah. Call me and I'm on my way. Tell me that you need me, yeah. I'll give it to you night and day. I'm talking about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Hey guys, it's Linda Louis Jacques, also known as Loveland J. And today I wanted to talk about how do you know someone is the right one and how to pick the right spouse. And who better to have this conversation with than my husband, Pedro Jacques.
Hey, what's up, guys?
So I just wanted to shine a light on this conversation a little bit and hopefully give at least one person a little more insight on picking the right spouse and not just wasting your time when you're dating someone. So I brought my husband along because we both have actually been engaged before. And I brought him along to kind of talk about his side of it because, you know, men are the one that do the pursuing. So I just wanted to know what was different from the first engagement to you now engaging or proposing the second time around and then now being married.
Well, first of all, choosing someone to be married to spend the rest of your life with is a really hard decision. So and you have to be very careful because spending the rest of your life with that person, that you can be happy, either you are happy or you spend the rest of your life being miserable.
Yeah.
So therefore, you have to focus on the right factors in order to be with that person. In the past, I focused on the wrong thing because well, the person was, I mean, very good looking,
Yeah.
and everything, but just because the person is good looking doesn't mean that the person is the right person for you.
That's
you
true.
know.
Yeah.
But one thing is I didn't know how much the teamwork was important to me until I was in that relationship. So I realized that we had to be codependent in order for the relationship to be successful.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't get that, and also the spiritual, being spiritually aligned was very important to me, and I didn't get that either. So there's a lot of things.
But not to cut you off, I mean, like, if all of that wasn't there, then why did you propose? You know, because in your head you feel like, okay, she's beautiful, she has the right one. If she has, she might be the one, so I'm going to propose to her. I want to marry her.
Yeah, but like I said, I wasn't mature enough, like before I proposed, like for the things to be so real for me to realize, no, wait a minute, I can't move forward. You know what I'm saying? So when I get there, I started looking at life differently.
Yeah.
So that made me realize that, okay, I can't move forward with that person. So if I don't have all of those things, we can't move forward. We can't get married because I don't believe in divorce. I believe in being married and stay married.
Yeah.
You know. So therefore, I had to discontinue the relationship so I can like focus on myself until I get the right person.
So you said a very good point, because I think a lot of the time when it might not be true for everyone, but I think a lot of the time when you're dating, you look at the physical first, which is very important, but it goes deeper into it when you go in the mindset of, okay, I'm going into this relationship because marriage is the end goal. So I feel like if marriage is the end goal in the relationship, then the physical should not be the only thing that you pay attention to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I know for us, even though we were physically attracted to each other when we met each other, but it was deeper than that. Like, for example, we connected spiritually because we're both spiritual people.
Right.
And then besides the spiritual, we connected because we both had a lot of dreams, goals, and visions that were aligned with each other.
Right.
And of course, we connected because we both had a failed engagement.
Right.
So
think about it. When you're with someone that you think about like getting married, I mean, you think about like marrying this person, you need to build you need to build several connections, spiritual, emotional, emotional, and I forgot the other one.
Mental? Well, it's
Mental,
like the
yeah.
same thing.
Yeah, it's almost the same thing. So if you don't have these connections, when you're married with that person, in the days where you feel like, okay, what was I thinking? What's gonna hold you? So you need to have all of those things, not only the physical, because when the person wake up in the morning, that she doesn't look the same.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you just gonna leave the relationship just for that because you
Yeah.
didn't know the person was ugly when she woke up in the morning.
Right.
So
I mean, that,
you know?
that is, and then of course because now that we're or if you don't know that, we should have said that at the beginning. We've been together for 3 years now and been married for almost 2 years.
Mhm.
And then walking into marriage is a whole different. It's like a whole different dimension. You realize that you don't just marry someone for love.
Yeah.
Definitely, I feel like love is not the foundation of our relationship at all.
Not at all.
If so, it would have probably crumbled because there's days where there's obstacles that you go through. There's, children involved, and of course, like a lot of other things that love can easily not withstand, I guess you can say. Right. Love can't withstand all of these things. Mm-hmm. So then when you have someone where it's like, okay, this is someone that I want to build with, or I can build with, or this is someone that I connect with on a spiritual level, or this is someone that I feel, if you're spiritual, this is someone I feel like God is calling me to be with the person, then you have more of a reason to fight and stay in the relationship.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, because you have to build a really, really good foundation, because without the foundation you won't be able to stay, because marriage is just a lot.
Yeah.
It's just so heavy. You're not gonna be happy every day. You're not gonna be smiling every day.
Yeah.
So those days you have to have something. I mean, love is not gonna be enough to hold you when you get to those situations.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why before you engage to someone, you need to know exactly, like, if that person is the right person.
Yeah.
And in order to know that is to build
conversation.
Yeah, have great conversations, and then make sure that your future is aligned. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that, like, me and you, our goals were aligned. Like, business, we are both business minded and everything. But I'm not saying that everybody, I mean, you have to, like, your careers have to be the same thing.
Yeah.
But at least the person needs to understand, like, who I'm with.
For example, since we're both business minded, or since we both know how entrepreneurship is, like, for example, if you were the type of person that's like on a 9-to-5 and a steady paycheck, mm-hmm. you wouldn't understand an entrepreneur who sometimes struggles, or 1 month there's no sales, or right. 1 month you're not popping the same way, because there's highs and lows to it.
Yeah.
So I feel like that helped us connect a lot,
mm-hmm.
versus someone who's maybe like, I don't know, maybe like someone who's into ministry, and then someone who
like a nurse.
Or a nurse, or isn't in ministry, and then they wouldn't fully understand, or let's just say someone who is a Christian and then someone who isn't a Christian.
Right.
It'll be hard for them to kind of understand each other on that level.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that plays a big role in it too. And I think what needs to be had too is not to be afraid to have those conversations at the beginning, like when you're dating each other.
Yeah.
You don't have to feel like, okay, I have to like be perfect for this
wait
person,
until marriage or something,
and I have to, give this perception that I'm like a perfect girlfriend, I'm going to be a perfect girlfriend or a perfect boyfriend. No, like, be real. Ask questions that are important to you. Like, do you want kids? Do you want to be married?
Yeah.
Like, what is your goal of dating? I feel like those questions are important. So then it saves you from wasting time in a relationship.
Right.
And you're not like 3-5 years into a relationship, and then it's like, oh my God, he doesn't want kids,
Yeah.
So I feel like those are important.
Yeah, very important. Those things are like part of building the foundation, So you don't want to walk into marriage, and when you're in that marriage, that's when you're trying to like figure out a lot of things, you know?
Right.
So you need to already know your partner. You already know what this person like and what this person dislike. So you can move forward,
True.
you know.
Okay. So how do or how did you pick your spouse? Like how do you pick your spouse? Or I guess you don't pick your spouse. I don't know if that's the right word for
Well,
it. But how do you know how do you know?
okay, how do you know someone is? It can be different for
Everyone.
for everyone, but how did I know you were the one? But well, I've always wanted a partner that understands me the way I am, and I found that in you. And second things, and another thing is we were spiritually aligned.
Yeah.
Our goals were aligned. It's like somehow our life was already intertwined. It's like this is the, you know, when you're a kid you have an imaginary friend.
That's
It's like
true.
I already imagined that person, and then that was you
It
exactly.
disappeared when we were ready. Yeah.
When we were ready. So it was easy, and this is very important. It was really easy to build with you.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. I was looking for somebody that I love. Of course, I was in love with you, but most importantly, I feel like I could build with you.
Yeah.
So this was very important. It's very important to me, building, and that's where the teamwork takes place.
Yeah.
Because if we feel like, okay, I want to go right, you want to go left, we just try to find out like, okay, how can we compromise with that?
Yeah.
Whichever that's gonna be good for us, we just take it. So
Yeah.
I feel like this is how I knew you were the one for me.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess I wouldn't say like a list because, or I guess some people have a list, but okay. So for the people that have a list, I feel like for me, from my own personal experience, knowing that Pedro was the one and knowing that someone else, my failed engagement, wasn't the one, was discernment. My spiritual life played a big role in it. So I was able to discern, okay, even though I love this person and, you know, we have all this history together, but my discernment is telling me that this is not who I am supposed to marry, you know? So I think that plays a big role, even though that this person has all this list and physical and da-da-da-da, but some way, somehow, your spiritual adultness, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, people usually say intuition.
Yeah, should overpower your feelings, your emotions, your wants, and then you focus on the things that you need, I guess. And a lot of the things that I needed, Pedro had, as far as the person that I knew that I was supposed to be as a woman. I know that he could add to that as a spiritual man as well. And then, of course, my discernment played a big role because I just felt like God was telling me that this is the one. So I think that plays a big role. I mean, with us saying all of that, just because, you know, once you found the one, that doesn't necessarily mean that it'll be a perfect relationship. You know, because I don't know, I'm sure Pedro does too, because I'm difficult. But I have a lot of days where I feel like, okay, maybe this was not the right decision. Maybe he isn't the one. Maybe. You know, I have a lot of those days. So how do I overcome those days? It all goes back to the first reason why I thought he was the one. Like I said before, discernment played a big role for me. So I am very spiritual. So God told me that Pedro was the one. That's a long story. We'll come back to that another day. But God told me that Pedro was the one. And I know for me that God is not a man, that he shall lie. So what he says is what it is. You know, he's not going to go back on his word. So I have to remind myself that a lot, and remind myself that, the enemy doesn't like to see a happy home. He doesn't like to see a happy marriage. So a lot of the things, or a lot of the doubts that I have in my mind sometimes, it either comes from like an argument that we had, or like, I don't know, hormones, or me having a bad day, or me having a long day, the kids frustrating me. So I have to remind myself, okay, what caused this thought, and is it a genuine thought? So I feel like that's how I fight a lot of the thoughts, because like we said, love is not the foundation of a relationship at all, because there's days where I'm like, I cannot stand this man. I cannot stand him. But the days that you no longer, or that you feel like you don't love the person, there has to be a bigger reason why you still like the person. I feel like that plays a big role in it.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's how I fight.
Yeah, I feel like everyone that has been married, everyone that has been married or has been in any long-term relationship, I've been through those days.
Yeah.
Where you feel like, no, this is definitely not gonna work. The way I fight it, I always think about like, we are different. We're just two different people. We have two different backgrounds.
Yeah.
So, and we're not perfect. Things can happen, but we have to be stronger than that.
Yeah.
We have to know why we're in this. We're stronger. I feel like we're stronger together than without each other. So therefore, those things always keep me going, and I always make sure that this is not what gonna like make me give up in that relationship.
Yeah.
Because we have better things to do. We have a long way ahead. So that's why that's how I always like move past like those days. Yeah.
I feel like when dating, you want to make sure that you ask questions, you have open-ended conversations.
Right.
You don't be afraid to be yourself. You don't be afraid to ask questions.
We know we're not perfect.
Exactly. Ask about the person's background. And of course, you want to make sure that you're healed if you go in with the mindset of, okay, I want to marry someone.
Right. The period of healing.
Everyone's healing is different. I mean, yeah, we can touch on that.
I feel like I healed, but
I didn't heal yet.
Yeah. You healed while we were together. Yeah.
Oh my God. And I'm always telling people, make sure you're healed first. Okay. Just to elaborate on the healing, I feel like everyone's healing process is different. We'll kind of get a little personal on how he healed a little bit, and then how I healed. I'll go first because mine is a little longer. Or maybe you could go first since yours is shorter and mine's is longer.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my healing process wasn't really that hard. I knew what was wrong with my past relationship right away, and I knew all of those mistakes that I made, and then like make sure that, okay, these are not gonna happen anymore, and okay, I'm hurt, but okay, everything happened for a reason. This is not what God wanted. I'm sure He has something better coming. So
your healing process was like, okay, it's over, I'm done.
It was short.
Well, I guess it's probably different for guys, or it depends on the person, because my healing process was like really long. It was really long because, okay, I'll give a little bit of background. So my past relationship, I was with him for 8 years. We have a child together, and we were engaged. So this was a very long relationship. Someone I've been with, or someone I was with since I was 16 years old. So it was really, really hard for me to let go, even though, okay, go back to spiritual. I knew that God was telling me that this relationship was no more, and this is not who I was supposed to be with. But I was fighting that feeling. I was fighting that feeling. I was fighting that for maybe like 3 years, to be honest with you. I was fighting that voice that was telling me no, like, end this. So my healing process was long, and then when I finally decided to end the relationship and the engagement, I met Pedro shortly after, maybe less than a month after, and we instantly connected on a emotional and mental level, because I've never had that before with anyone. like our conversation just piqued everything. So we connected really quick, even though I wasn't fully healed yet from my past relationship. His persistency, he was very persistent. So, you know, the relationship continued, and we of course got into a relationship. And to me, I thought I was healed until we got really serious in the relationship, until the beginning of our marriage. And then we were living together, and I realized that a lot of the things that I was accusing him of, and a lot of the things that I was angry at him for, came from my past relationship. Yeah. And that's when I realized that I wasn't fully healed yet. So thank God, you know, God told me that this is the person I was supposed to be married with, and I'm sure he knew why, because Pedro helped me a lot through the healing process, which I feel like, you think I'm healed now?
I feel like you are.
So yeah, I feel like that's why I say everyone's healing process is different, because you could get out of a relationship and like 2 weeks later, not 2 weeks later, but before you get into the next relationship, you're already healed. You're completely done.
And another thing is, sometimes you're not healed, you don't even know that.
Yeah.
Until something occurred.
Yeah.
You know? So you have to really like take time to, I would say, learn yourself. Because I remember a lot of time, there are plenty of times you're accusing me of things that I don't even understand, you know? so now I'll be like, okay, who are you talking to? I mean, what have I done? You know what I'm saying? So those things, you really need to know how to heal yourself.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Yeah. And much. I think also, like what you said, like knowing yourself and knowing the definition of healing is very important, even though it's just like one definition in the dictionary, but actually knowing what healing is. Because to me, I was such in a, I'm going to say unhealthy, it wasn't really toxic, but unhealthy relationship, that now that I'm in a healthy relationship, I didn't know that it was healthy, you know?
There were a lot of things when we're doing them and stuff, you can believe it's real.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like, I remember one time I asked you, have you ever had someone cares about you before?
Yeah.
Because it's like, she doesn't believe that's real. You know, this is part of not being healed yet. Yeah,
and not knowing, I guess, between what really is healthy and what really isn't. Or, what is healthy and what isn't healthy. Because what you think someone treating you a certain way to you might be, oh, they care about you, but really it's not them caring about you until, you know, you get into a healthier
that's right.
atmosphere. So hopefully this helped out a lot of people, because like I said, I don't think we really have these in-depth conversations in the millennial community. And they're very, very important, because like I said, who you attach yourself to can either make or break your destiny or prolong your destiny. So being aware, being spiritually aware, and being aware of who you are and what you want and what you don't want is very important before you even walk into a relationship. So yeah, hopefully this helps someone. And again, it's Linda Lewis Jacques, also known as Loveland J. And thank you for my lovely, lovely husband for coming on with me today. And you guys have a great day.
Call me